My name's James Green, and I'm the Divisional Director for a company called deVere Group. 86,400. Good number. Big number. If I said to you this morning, as a thank you for watching me talk, I'm going to bank transfer you all 86,400 into your account, what would you be thinking? He's a good speaker. Would you be thinking what you'd spend it on? New car, lavish holiday to the Maldives for all your friends and your family, maybe something a bit more sensible, investment into property, start a new business, maybe you're super generous and you give the whole lot to charity. Who knows? What if I put a slight caveat in there and I said, I'm going to give you £86,400, but whatever you don't spend by midnight tonight, it's gone, disappears. Whatever you don't spend goes. What are you thinking now? Someone running for the door to get to the shops. Are you thinking, oh, crikey, okay, if it's going to disappear, I better make sure I use it quickly. I better make sure that I use it wisely. I better make sure that I maximize every single pound. Well, we also get 86,400 seconds in a day. And a little bit like that example there, at the end of the day, any seconds that we've not used wisely are gone and never to be seen again. The bad news is I can't give you £86,400 for being here today. But the good news is every single one of us here gets 86,400 seconds every single day to use however we wish. And the time is more important than the money. The time is way more important than the money. You ask anybody that's been diagnosed with a terminal illness, or they're at the end of their life, or on their deathbed, you ask them what they prefer, £86,400 or the seconds. I guarantee you they take the time. But those seconds run down quite quickly. Time disappears. We know that over a 75-year lifespan, on average, we spend 25 years asleep, maybe more for some. 5 years trying to get to sleep, 5 years eating, 11 years watching television, surely not. 1 year in the gym, 2 years if you're super fit, apparently 13 months sat on the toilet. It shows us that we have an expiry date. It teaches us that we need to respect time, we need to be appreciative of time. But it also teaches us that we need to maximize time. And we need to maximize every second. I'm going to talk to you today about something called the success journey. And I'd argue that anybody listening to this talk is somewhere on that success journey. They might be right at the start, they might be in the middle, they might be nearer the end, but they'll be somewhere on that journey. And at each stage of that success journey, we need to make sure we're really, really good with our time. First stage of the success journey is to have a good goal, have a dream. What do you want to achieve? What do you want to do? What do you want to change? What do you want to get excited about? I'd say that anybody that feels that they're in a bit of a rut at the moment, or they've not quite got that spark, or they wake up and they're not quite as enthusiastic as they perhaps once were before, it's probably because they haven't got that goal. A goal needs to be exciting, something that makes you want to get out of bed in the morning. The goal must have a good why attached to it. Great Simon Sinek TED Talk, actually, on the reason why your goals have to have a strong why. Okay, here's what I want to achieve. Here's why I want to achieve it. Make sure you've got a good goal. And as part of that goal, make sure that the goal has some sort of deadline attached to it. A goal without a deadline is just a dream. Why do we set deadlines? If you think back to when we were at school or university, got to have this coursework or this homework done by this time. This is a deadline. Well, they set us that because it means we get it done on time. So make sure you're the same with your goal planning. If not now, when? Once we get through that goal stage, the dream stage, that's when we've got to stop dreaming and start taking some action. And we move into a stage called the leap stage. The leap stage is where we just have to start, really. We have to realize there's no perfect time. It's all about progress, not perfection. This is where we commit to the commitment. This is where we go all in. This is where we make some sacrifices and we start off on our journey. Just remember that when you're starting anything, you don't have to see the top of the staircase to take that first stair. At this leap stage, always good to have some accountability in there. People tend to work better when there's some form of accountability. Great book by Gretchen Rubens. It's called The Four Tendencies. And it talks about how good we are with internal accountability and how good we are with external accountability. Internal accountability, they're the people that motivate themselves. They're at the gym at 6 a.m. They can just get out of bed and get into that gym. They don't need anybody there waiting for them. They just do it. They're internally motivated. I'm not that person. I'm much, much better with external accountability. So for me to get to the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, I need to have a personal trainer there or some sort of gym class because I don't want to let them down. I'm good with external accountability. It's always good to know how you work best, whether you're better internally or externally accountable. Having a good diary system, really, really, really important when it comes to time. Why do we put things in the diary? Because it means they get done. So let's put everything that's important in the diary and make sure that it gets done. And of course, you need to have a good routine, but that routine has to be right for you. You could log on to Instagram. You've got to wake up at 3 a.m. to be successful. You've got to drink this smoothie in the morning to have the best day of your life. Okay, well, the truth is that you've got to get a routine that works for you. I was reading something earlier in the week, and it said, if you miss 1 hour lunch break every day of the week, you save 5 hours a week, 20 hours of the month. How far ahead of your competition could you get then? Okay, well, that routine wouldn't work for me. I quite like a 15-minute stroll around at lunchtime, get some fresh air and stretch my legs. So you've got to make sure that you get a good routine that works for you. And if you can somehow combine those three things, then you're really onto a winner. So when the world went into lockdown, March 2020, our company, like every other company, was forced into home working. And I realized that managing people that, particularly the people that said they hated working from home, I realized that they didn't really hate working from home. They hated the fact they had no accountability, and they hated the fact they had no routine. So as soon as we put that accountability and routine back into their working from home life, things started to move forward again. Actually, business levels went up. We did a 7:30 Zoom every single morning. Ladies had to log on, business attire, because working from home is working from home. Gentlemen had to log on in their suits, shoes polished, trousers on. We got that routine and we got that accountability. Everybody loved it. Everybody loved it because they got that accountability and routine, even though they're working from home. And then when you start to come out of the leap stage, this is the tricky stage, the fight stage. This is where, guess what, in life, obstacles come in. This is the stage where if you're going to get put on your backside, you get put on your backside. It's at this stage where actually most people give up because they forget about the goal, they forget about the why, the obstacles come in, things get a bit tricky. This is the stage where we have to dig that little bit deeper. Some great material out there from a chap called Nims Purja, who is a very, very, very good climber. And he talks about fault versus responsibility. And he says, in life, we've got to have a responsibility mindset. Forget the excuses. Don't blame other people. You're totally responsible for your own success. And we have to adapt that in this fight stage. We have to realize that success doesn't go in a straight line, not in most cases. It tends to bobble around a bit. You get some good days, you get some tougher days, get some good months, get some harder months. But as long as things are moving in that direction, we're okay. We can appreciate things bobbling around a bit. A little bit like a stock market chart, perhaps. Got to realize that sometimes we get some red lights, but we need the red lights to appreciate the green lights. And of course, at that fight stage, got to make sure you've got a good self-image. Too often I see people that are critical of themselves, beat themselves up, always giving themselves a hard time. Try not to do that. Have a good self-image. Look positively on yourself. It's really difficult to rise above the level that you see yourself at. So if you think you're a bit of a loser, it's very, very difficult to be a winner. If you think that you are naturally, I'm always late, that's just me, you're never really going to get anywhere on time. Try and make sure that you've got a good self-image. Think positively about yourself. And if you struggle with that, have a list of your past successes somewhere, on an iPad, in the back of a notebook, on your mobile phone. think of all the things that you've done well in your life. And if you're ever having a tough moment where you just feel a little bit down, just flick back, read those successes, and you'll just naturally smile. You'll snap out of that negative mindset very, very quickly. Winners remember what went right. Losers remember what went wrong. Winners replay the highlights. Losers replay the lowlights. So please make sure you've got good self-image, even if that's something that you have to work on every single day. Pound and penny is something I do that helps me with my time. A lot of people do a to-do list. Great if you do a to-do list. Much, much better than not doing a to-do list. But sometimes with a to-do list, you tend to focus on the things that you want to do first of all, or the easy tasks. I set my day up pound and penny, lying down the middle of the page, pound tasks on the left. Pound tasks, that's the things that I've got to do that influences mine or my company's income. That's the important stuff. That's my priorities. On the right-hand side is my penny tasks. Emails, admin. Got to get them done. They're important, but they're secondary compared to the pound tasks. Try that. It works for me, pound and penny. I try and, as part of that, focus and batch similar tasks. So if I've got 2 hours of calls to my sales managers, I prefer doing those at the same time. That way I can stand up, put the desk up, walk around, earpods in, loads of energy, confidence, momentum, feel good, focus and batch those tasks. And then I do my admin, emails, etc. at a similar time. Each task that you do has got a setup cost, a setup time. So much, much easier if you can focus and batch them. And then the third one in the fight stage, got to really protect that time. Remember that 20% of what you do accounts for 80% of the overall output. 20% of what you do gives you 80% of the overall output. So in your industry or your business, whatever that may be, what's the 20%? What's the most important things that we need to do just to move that needle? When we can come through the fight stage, life gets a bit easier. We start to climb, we start to progress. We're getting closer now to the goal. What behaviors do you have to show here? What habits are there? What's the minimum that you'll tolerate from yourself? That's always a good question at the start of the day. What's the minimum that I expect from myself today? When we're in this climb stage, make sure you've got a good system. A system will save you time. A system will always beat willpower. Let's say someone's goal is to be more healthy. The person that's got the system will win over the person that's got the willpower. Think of the willpower. I want to be more healthy. I want to lose weight. I want to be a bit sharper. Cross my fingers, let's hope it'll happen. I'm just relying on willpower. Or is it the person with a system that wins, that's got the personal trainer or the gym classes or gym times in the diary? They've got the healthy meal plan or the meal prep. They've got the counting the calories in versus calories out. That's a system. A good system will save you time. During this climb stage, we've got to make sure that we don't lose time. In the world we live in now, how easy is it for distractions to come in and steal our time? Try not to lose time. Learn from time. A good exercise is to write down a list of places where you think you might lose time. So for me, it's sitting at airports, being on aeroplanes, stuck in London traffic. Those are typically areas that I lose time. So how can I learn from time? Okay, well, let's make sure that if I'm getting on an aeroplane, I've got a good book to read, something positive, something where I can develop myself. Or if I'm driving in the car, I've got a couple of good podcasts that are there handy. And that way you can learn from time rather than lose it. And just remember, I can. Improvement, constant, and never-ending. Book from James Clear, Atomic Habits. Just get 1% better each day. Improvement, constant, and never-ending. And as we come out of that climb stage, we arrive. We hit that goal. We take time to pause. We take time to celebrate those wins. We're stood at the top of that mountain, and things look pretty good. We be positive about ourselves, reward ourselves, congratulate yourselves, be proud of yourself when you get to that stage. But really, really important that we don't sit there for too long. Seen it so many times in business where somebody's got to that arrive stage, they've hit that goal, or in sport even. I'm a big football fan, so maybe that someone's achieved something in football, they think they've made it, they sit around for a bit, they don't reset that goal, they don't go and find another mountain to climb. And of course, if you end up like that, you get a bit stale, don't progress any further. In football terms, we call it a one-season wonder. At this stage, just remember that success does take patience. Heard a great quote the other day. It took me 4 years to become an overnight success. Success takes patience, but we've got to be impatiently patient. Because if we're too patient and we don't do anything about it and we sit around, well, that's not good either. So we've got to be impatiently patient. We've got to always be taking positive action towards success. The bad news is that time flies. But the good news is you're the pilot. And we get 86,400 seconds every single day, and we can do whatever we choose with them. So the bad news is it does go very, very quickly, but the good news is we can choose whatever we want to do with it. Let's make sure that we all adopt a one-shot mindset. Got one shot at today, one shot at tomorrow. Maximize every single second and be grateful for those 86,400 seconds. If not now, when? Thank you very much for listening.